Okay, just documenting an experiment. Okay, that was with a Q of 8, where originally it had been 32. So with 32 I get those beautiful astronomic peaks, super sharp peaks. And at 8 you can see looks like I just barely hit the peak. So, and yet it encoded perfectly, I think. But you could still see it around F sharp and G. I don't know if it was because of the vibrato or just, part of the instrument, the recorder. There were like strong harmonics instead of a strong fundamental. And then there was one other note, I think it may have been E here, where there's always a really strong octave. Just the second harmonic, but nothing else to speak of. But F sharp and G, very harmonic. And like here, it looks like my vampire code worked, where this should be showing a dark gray bar because it's obviously a peak, but it isn't, because I saw that energy as being an octave of this guy, and I stole it from him and gave it to him. But during the recording, we saw several times where this made it all the way to being a co-note. So I was simultaneously playing two notes of the same frequency, well, an octave apart, when the original performer was only playing one note officially. Now, is this flavor character that I want to lose? Not really, but it's a distracting note event, and I'll get the frequency back later on when I play it on an instrument that will bring its own harmonics. So I'll just play it. And this is Swan Lake, so I can't play very much of it because apparently it is also copyrighted. Okay, so it's a solid note, but it's pulsing in amplitude. And we hear that. And that could be due to vibrato tremolo. I mean, you can see, if you look at the side frequencies, they are sort of teeter-tottering, which I think would be a sign of a vibrato-y effect. But here, there's E, and it's got its latent octave. I mean, everybody's got harmonics, but some of the notes just have a lot stronger. Okay, so I need to understand that if that's the performer intentionally doing that, I'll just jump around. So if we look at these regions where the signal gets a little fuzzy, so if I just click there, we see, well, we see just one note. But when we get to this fuzzy area, all of a sudden we see multiple peaks, harmonic peaks. And are these all harmonics? Yes. Okay. Octave. Yes. I couldn't probably, but I'd have to count. And let's look at the actual energy value. So before there was an F sharp. Okay. So before there was an F sharp, there was a B. And it was running around 9 million. Almost 10 million. And then 8 million, then 13 million, then 8 million, then 11 million, then 9 million. Is she really doing that? I don't know. 500,000. So this is silence between notes. 1 million, and we start to hear a G. Still a G, strong G, 1 million. We call it a note at 1 million. Still 1 million. Starts to go down, and its octave starts to come in, and you can hear it. It wasn't there. Now it is there. It's there because it's got this dark bar. That means it's an official peak worthy of playing back. These other guys don't have dark bars. They are not worthy of playing back. So that's a really weird moment in time. This had been a strong G, and then it weakened in favor of its octave, and now it swings back, and then it's going up and down, up and down. That's got to be a performer-related action. It's kind of a cute little spectrum, isn't it? 3 million, 1 million, 1 million, 1 million. And that's I'm calling out what the top scale is, not what the actual size of that bar is. So when the bar is 50%, it's half of whatever the scale value is. Is that during this period, it's actually playing multiple notes. And each note, it's pretty much just a fundamental for all of this, but you can see a harmonic in a lot of them. And the third harmonic, which should be up 7 from the octave. So if that's the octave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, so that's the third harmonic. And that one you can see just a bud of a second harmonic. But most of them it's just the fundamental until we get to here. And as we step through this boundary, there's a moment where they start playing F sharp. And now that it's scrolled onto the screen, it's going to start coming in on the rhythm rainbow, that blue. That is so strong, but I'm apparently doing a good job with my harmonic suppression filter. Oh, that's cool. When I was going fast, you can see the whole song really fast here. Woo! Or I guess it was probably me going back and forth. Anyway, just to get through this part, the blue comes up. It hits. It never really goes much above 3 million. Then we switch to yellow, and it goes up to 10 million right away, and has a double peak. That seems odd. And now I'm filtering it completely. And it's been going for a long time. It's had lots of time to figure it out. Oh, no? Okay. Here's a point in time where I am filtering it. I'm filtering it at 9 million. 8 million. Oh, 10 million. At 10 million, you can see it has developed a dark bar, but I'm suppressing it. And then at 9.2 million, that dark bar has shot all the way to the top. And I have code, this is what it is. I have code that if I see a sudden increase in energy, then I am more willing to say, oh, that's the start of a note. I detect the peaks, then I suppress the peaks, then I detect the notes. Okay, but anyway, so it stays strong, really yellow, double peak. And I think I've only seen this for the for E. It was yellow, then it was gone. It was still a big peak, but I guess that's what I didn't actually prove, isn't it? But anyway, that's 9 million, so it just dropped below 9 million. So maybe there's just something about 10 million-ishness that if you're above that, I tell you that you're amazing. Okay, but that wasn't really the point of this experiment. Well, it kind of was. But look at that. So that which I was perceiving as an intermittent F sharp is really just a oscillating F sharp. And what's actually happening there, I think it's more fair to say that the fundamental may be holding kind of still, and the octave is coming and going, coming and going. And visually, can we see that? I don't know if you can see that or if that's too light. I have to magnify it a little. Okay, so we have, the strong peaks for the entire life of that tone. And I gotta assume that it's just because it's so darn loud. And then we get to the intermittent guys. And what do we get? We get, okay, I see just high. I see high. I see loud low. Loud low. I see loud high. I see too loud high. I see loud low. Yeah, I mean, if you look in here, you can see there's basically 3 dots for 3 different frequencies, fundamental and 2 harmonics. And it's oscillating. The middle one is oscillating. It's strong, weak, strong, weak, strong, weak. The bottom one looks like it's always about the same. Fundamental, 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 fundamental. It gets weaker over time, near the end of the note. And the octave is basically, well, no, it's kind of alternating strong with the third. So it's the octave strong, the third strong. So there the octave is the strongest. No, actually, no. There the octave was the strongest. And there the third is stronger. Does that make sense? Yeah. Well, actually, the octave just kind of dominates and takes over at the end. So there's an oscillation at that frequency. Woo, 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 woo. That's got to be breath control of the player, and it sounds nice. I got no complaint with that. Okay, but by this point, yeah, that's what it is. I play the recorder. I know exactly what that is. If you just blow a little harder, you'll octavize the note. So what am I going to do about it? I think my harmonic suppression code is the answer. The error is always in the harmonics. They're always visible. I clearly do a great job for some of the time. Like here, I mean, I did suppress those guys. But it didn't seem to make this guy very big. I mean, it seems like just suppressing those 2 guys completely. Am I fooling myself? No, they would totally be suppressed. Okay, let's... Because the other thing is, if a note's been playing for a while, I give it more credence, and it will hold on to it longer. But it's only about 1 million, 1.1 million, 1.4 million. So let's, we understand the data, and our goal is to, our next plan, luckily I taped what I said, harmonic suppressor. So on my little to-do list over here, I write a little cryptic note. Harmonic suppressor. And my particular thought is that either the fundamental is not qualifying for protection when the fundamental is small. I'm looking at spectrums 3500 to 3888 from there to there. So therefore, I'm looking at about 350 spectrums. Well, if I divide that by 25, I of course get 14. I'm going to call it 5 seconds, 5 or 6 seconds. And now, within that time, how many periods of the oscillation do we see? Let's write down 5 seconds. Might as well let you see it. Okay, so we're counting how many periods we see from here to here. So I'm just going to count the dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 30, 31. So that's about 31 dots in about 6 seconds. So that's about 5 dots a second. So 5 dots a second versus 25 frames per second. Okay, let's zoom in even further. See if we can see any more structure. Okay, so yeah, from there to there, the performer varied their breath a little bit to have this effect. And during most of it, it looks like I suppressed okay. But here I didn't. Oh, well, no, I'm sorry. I did, though. It looks like I just stole a tiny bit of their energy. And it looks like I gave it to him, and their tiny little bit of energy. Or maybe that's just a visual thing. Maybe there's more there than I realize. Let's get something in the background. No, I don't see any extra thing. If I tap on the little piano keyboard, it just plays a sample note, so I can just kind of hear what frequency is present there. And it leaves behind this little marker, the last note I tapped. But that can obviously be confusing, so I have to tap it away to the side. And anytime you do that, it suppresses the spectral playback for a moment. Okay, well, I'm going to throw those samples away. And we still haven't listened to the actual groove. We didn't even stop recording it. Okay, well, let's just see how we did. Mark the beginning. So this is Tchaikovsky's, so this is an example of what Tchaikovsky's compositions look like. Okay. Da 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 da. da 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 da. Da 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 I don't remember that. I remember this is a really well. Obviously, I've heard the song way too many times now, but it looks like a pretty clean recording. The note durations look really good. I mean, it does not look worse than the high Q recording, and it might look better. So let's listen to it and see if the note starts, how ragged they sound or how precise. That's pretty long. Oh, this was a slow version. Let's just double it to 160. So this will play it back twice as fast as we recorded it. Which is still slow. Okay, so is that a real note or is that a harmonic that I thought was a note? In fact, that's what it is. In fact, we already know that that's going to be on E's. So this E here has an echo there. So this E has an echo, an octave echo. So that's an error, no question. But it's an error that was in the original data, so if I fix it in the original data, then I don't have to fix it here. So E, and then was that the third harmonic of the E? No, that was something off of that guy, and he did it again too. So that was G. Yeah, so G was another problem. And this is a monophonic instrument. It can only play one note at a time other than harmonics. Okay, well that's interesting. So some of the harmonics that we saw get turned into notes showed up as unexpected notes, just as we expected, but overall it was not bad, and I think we can improve. We saw evidence in the data that my existing algorithm should have suppressed those octave E's and didn't. So that's a bug, so I can fix that, and maybe that'll fix other bugs in the harmonic suppressor. And because we saw it doing an excellent job in other places, so if we can do an excellent job in all places, then life will be good. But for some reason I want to try this with my standard Sally song. In my setup here, I've actually got 2 sets of earbuds, and I'm only using then one earpiece from each set. And in my right ear, I hear the live sound coming from the computer that you can't hear because it would be a copyright violation. And I can hear in my left ear whatever is coming out of the tab. A lot of crashing. Pretty much anytime you see a thick band over here, there's a lot of percussive stuff happening. Lovely song. It looked like there were a lot of extra notes. And we'll just listen to it. Okay, so this is samples. No? No, I don't know. Okay, so that was samples, so that should have sounded perfect. Okay, there was a whole, that was around 1600. And there we saw two notes from the same peak, which was, that's probably a side effect of the broad spectrum, the low Q. I got the ending pretty well. Still, in my heart of hearts, I know I can't really use that low Q value. It's not like it did a horrible job happening. Oh yeah, and then I record. Sorry. So I'm just looking at track 2. You can see track 1 notes in the background. Green notes on top are track 2. Okay, this is my strumming accord in the little chord keyboard that I haven't talked about much yet. And you can change the key signature. Oh. Start again. Start again. Play the song. You're not allowed to hear it. Again, this is testing low Q values. So the row 7 Q value here is 8. Normally it's 32. 32 giving the really sharp peak, 8 giving this very round peak. Question is, what's actually better? Because I feel that with the really sharp peak, I have the problem that if the performer is a little sharp or flat, I might miss it. I might just rule it out. This is a little too far in the other direction, I'm pretty sure. And it seems to me I get a lot of false note hits on the side slopes. And it's not clear if there is temporary energy there or not. I think the energy is always there as reported, but I've come to the decision that my harmonic suppressor could do a better job. So this is actually still really quiet. So starting around plus 3 dB at 2700 frames. And this is what I like. I like the recording to be around 10 million. Okay. Well, okay, we'll just listen to a bit of this. So this is the middle C octave, and you can see her voice is mainly in this range. High C, G. So on her voice, right around A, there's some extra harmonics. She has a strong octave harmonic on when she does A. Okay, now here comes the first change. On the tuba. I almost feel like the Q value should be a button that you could just change, because it's capable of making some interesting effects. In that case, I think that was mostly just harmonics posing as notes. So same basic issue to be reduced. It doesn't seem like it was specifically the lowering the Q value. Just added nonsense notes. They looked like they were harmonically related, and it was an interesting, wall of sound in addition to, quote, the real notes. Okay, this is another test of a low Q value in the vocoder. Do that. Do that. Do that. Did that. Do that. This is also easy. It's trivial. A child could do it. Okay, so this is going to be Swan Lake again. Everybody's favorite. Okay, and it's a little loud. Let's bring it down a bit. Okay, now we're interested in if the F sharps and Gs look less pulsy. And I don't know, offhand they still look pretty pulsy. But what I've done in this build, it's the same build with the Q value of 8, giving you the rounder slopes, just an experiment. But also in this build, I have, that thing I just did. All right. I tweaked my harmonic suppression algorithm. So before, when it was playing the E, yellow E, there was always a strong harmonic, like that. Okay, that was around 1400. So it's still doing it, so let's stop. Okay, so what's my excuse? They are both peaks, clearly. It is definitely a octave relationship. The notes started, go back in time, back in time, back in time. Okay. Prehistorically, we had a G, and then it jumped to an E. There's a big gray bar, and that's 1 million. And then boom, it jumped to 5 million, at which point I said, wow, that's definitely a note, and turned it yellow. But you can see that the second harmonic, the octave, is already present. It's running around 1 million. 1 million. 1 million. Well, okay. So the second harmonic is coming up. It's about 2 million. It should have a gray bar because it's big enough to be considered a peak, not a note, but a peak. But it doesn't, and the reason it doesn't is because this guy has suppressed it. So the harmonic suppressor has worked. So at 5 million, this fundamental has correctly suppressed. Okay, we stay at that level. Okay, now we start to go up a little further, and you can see that a little bit of it's getting through. Now, technically, I'm stealing for second harmonic. I'm stealing 85%. 85% of the weight value. So that's pretty much just 85% of the linear distance here. So does that look like 15% and of its local peak? So that would be 10, that'd be 5, be 2.5. Yeah, I can believe that that is correct. That is my post-stealing. Now, I would sort of expect to have seen a little bit there, but I don't know. So again, we're rising. We're at 6 million energy on the E. Back down to 5.7, and the little nubbin went away. Okay, boom. We're fully harmonically suppressing at 5 million, and then boom, we jumped to 6 million. So our fundamental went to 6 million, and that guy went, well, he went over 5 million for sure. So it's like, even though I'm suppressing him, and I'm fully suppressing him here, he still managed to be considered a note. And kept it, and we're above 5 million. He kept it for the rest of the recording. Okay, so I don't know, I think there must be a 5 million in there somewhere. So we'll look for that. Okay, this is another experiment with the Q value set to 8 and a rework of the harmonic suppressor and a small rework of the note detector that it suppresses itself if it sees a note 1 octave below itself. That's kind of a hack, and it interferes with some real music. But we'll see if overall it's an improvement. So it's almost done recording. This was at plus 3 dB. It's getting about 10 million in energy. It's got some pretty good chord detection. It's getting a reasonable number of notes that follow the actual peaks. Because of the low Q value, the peaks are rounder than normal, less pokey, but still beautiful in their way. And done. And we got a total of 3,600 notes. That's kind of a lot. Okay, so how about just our harmonic suppression? Does this look harmonically suppressed? Actually, that does look pretty harmonically suppressed. Well, we'll see what that sounds like. So let's see, we'll take that off and put this on. Just that for you. Switch back to the vocoder. Set the volume to a reasonable level. Play spectrums.